Hey, what's up, everybody? I know it's been a long time, but we are the Iron Skillet Podcast. I am Master Logue. To the left of me, I have Mr. Tor Lane. On the boards, T. Clem Studios himself, and the one, the only, Bullwhip, the Wopington. What's up, everybody? How we been?
Great.
I've been good.
I mean, not really that great, but
No, the world is
Life.
really sad right now,
It's been
It's
a
going
crazy
through changes.
It's been
and
a
that's
crazy
necessary.
Time. Yeah, for sure.
Facts. Where do we even start?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's been a minute since we've been live and dropping content, and we've been talking behind the scenes, and I don't even know where to start with this one, Shaw.
I feel like just being honest, like about how everything happened with us stopping.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I looked at our posts, and it's like we posted Chris's podcast, and then that Sunday we did the Joe Rogan podcast. Following
That's
was like right after that was when everything happened.
What was the dates on that?
I'd have to pull it up, and it's gonna make noise.
No, it's okay.
But
It's gonna make
it was
noise.
right before. It was like 2 days before the 25th of May, which was when George Floyd lost his
Murdered.
life.
Yeah.
And
So it was right like mid-May,
so right at the end.
right at the end of May.
Yeah, and then I remember when that happened. Obviously, the world was just kind of turned upside down.
Mhm.
I remember DC, our friends being out in DC at the protests, and understanding the next morning the weight of what actually was going on in the world.
realization, yeah.
Yeah. And then I remember us coming together a couple of days after that, and we had been in a really good groove, in the pocket with content. And then seeing that happen and the weight of that was just a lot. And I feel like we all were just kind of not in a space to be pushing content or creating.
It just didn't feel
Content.
right self-promoting.
I
at
felt that
point in
way.
time.
Yeah.
And our content's very fun-loving, happy-going, and it would have just felt. I know we all said this, but it would have just felt weird to be putting that out there when in our hearts none of us really felt like that in real life.
I mean, we didn't feel like that, and it was hard. It would have been hard for us to continue shooting content and acting like
nothing was happening.
nothing was happening.
Yeah.
And we would have got looked at very strange, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
I feel like sharing a lot of truth is what's good for people to understand. And I know for that the first couple weeks of that was I was in a really weird space. It really hit me hard, and I was really low, really in a low spot. And I feel like y'all both saw me cry more than I've cried in 2 years.
Never saw Shator cry until that day.
I broke down and kind of had a whole moment in front of the both of them, and that was weird for me because I was damn, I don't think I've ever shown this side of me. But I was just everything that was going on, and just the blatant disregard was just too much for me to wrap my head around. And y'all, it was shout out to y'all didn't judge me or anything like that. Just had my
Why
back.
would we?
Yeah, I know, but just never having done that, it's weird. You feel oh damn it, these are my boys, but now I'm over here and I'm kind of breaking
Showing
down.
weakness.
I'm breaking down, but it was just genuine. I was just so upset with what I was seeing, and just people that couldn't understand. I just couldn't wrap my head around people that didn't get it,
Mm-hmm.
and that was tough.
It was a really weird time. I remember even the first day, if not 2 days into it, everybody that I've ever went to school with was at each other's necks about their opinions. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody was voicing their opinion on social media, and it was a very weird time. And I didn't want to engage in anything. I just had to step back. I know we had plans to do something and be active in the community about the whole situation, but to see people just be completely disregard each other's opinions and just be at each other's necks was a weird sight for me to see and live through in my 20s.
No, for sure.
It was weird because you honestly didn't know what to do. Obviously, we all wanted to somehow make change or try and fix, something that's been going on forever and longer than we've been around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's we all stepped back so we could figure out a way to use our platform to make a change. And also, we've been having talks amongst ourselves and about these issues and how we feel about them, like you said, breaking down in front of everybody. But, I feel like we all, in a sense, needed that.
Oh, for sure.
To get these emotions out and to express ourselves. And, behind the scenes, nobody's seen everything that we've been talking about. And I don't know. I think it was a time that the world needed to wake up.
For sure.
Agreed.
I think something that's really important is, like, I know I realized personally for myself that, like, I'm a very non-confrontational person. Like, I will let a lot of stuff go before I'm going to, like, make a big deal out of it. But, like, I realized, like, I'm over that. Like, I'm not going to hide my opinion around that topic at all. And I'm going to, like, say what I have to say and stand up for people and stand up for myself. But I feel like, Brandon, you shared a story of, like, remembering instances when we were in high school. We all went to the same high school, and things that you saw and you were like, I didn't, like, really think that deep into it at the time, but now that I'm, like, looking back on it, like, that was a really crazy thing.
Now that you brought it up, I guess I should go ahead and touch on that. So, and I'm sure everybody has gone through those instances in school where you've seen some form of racism happening, or dare say it, a hate crime. And it's like, it's unfathomable at when you're that young and you see it happen, and it's kind of like, all right, the teachers are going to handle this. Like, what am I as a student going to do? You know what I mean? All right, the teachers got this, they're going to handle it. But man, I honestly feel like our school system let a lot of kids down in that regard, because it was like a slap on the wrist to some of these kids, saying all these mean things. And now growing up, they didn't know the severity of it and how bad it really is. And look what it's amounted to. I'm not saying everybody went on to, do hate crimes or whatever, but it's just, I feel like in this area in Virginia, we're somewhat in Northern Virginia. It's like, I feel like every kid has seen that. In high school too, and it's just sad.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't know how to handle it.
Or they didn't know how to handle it. Man, I'm telling you.
Like teachers and
I've seen so many teachers turn a blind eye to it.
Because they didn't know how to handle it.
And it's terrible.
I feel like
more accountability should have been taken then, and it might have changed the outcome of some things now. Not all, but, it would have helped.
I feel like it's really, like, I mean, this is like the tip of the iceberg of the, like, depth of the conversations that we've had, which, we're not trying to get super deep into it on this podcast, but I feel like it's important to say, like, we have had those conversations with each other. We have had those conversations with our family and our friends. And, like, one of the most important things was, like, self-reflection and understanding, like, it's not okay to, like, stand by anymore. Like, in the past, I know I may have just been like, like, that was, like, hateful towards me, but I don't have the energy to, like, fight with this person, so I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna leave the area. But, like, now I feel like it's my responsibility to say like, no, like, that's not okay. Like, you're wrong for that. And I feel like we all kind of collectively have kind of told each other, like, we're not gonna, like, stand by and let anything like that, you know what I mean, go on in front of us. And it starts that way. Like, I know when we were at the protest and I was looking at all of these different people that were there, it's like, you got to think about, maybe there's, like, like a popular kid, like, high school quarterback, super popular, and, like, maybe being a part of this and seeing this makes him realize, like, okay, when I go to school and my friends are clowning on each other and they think it's funny, like, I got to be the person to say, like, that's wrong. Like, that's, you think it's a joke, but it's not a joke. Like, because it really starts like that. Like, really small things.
Lead by example.
Yeah, for sure. So, that's
I hope to see a lot more of that. You know?
For sure.
That brings me to one of the things I wanted to mention. How I said earlier that, we came together and we've had these talks and we've been trying to come up with ways that we could help make change and help fix things. And, it's like, of course, I don't think we're going to end racism. But one of the things we came up with was putting our foot down, saying something. Whenever you were confronted with racism or see somebody experiencing racism, say something. You know, don't be silent about it.
No,
It's
100%.
2020. This is terrible. We are still talking about this. I don't think it's going to go away, but, you know, as, you know, individuals or this and that, you know, I feel like that's one thing that everybody can do to make a change.
Oh, for
And
sure.
that's saying something,
play
putting
their
your
part.
foot down. Yeah, and
In
playing your part,
numbers.
you know?
Definitely. So, like, I know that was, like, a really hard time. Like,
Mhm.
for me, and I'm sure everybody went through their own version of why that was hard. On top of that, we have a pandemic going on. Like, it's not like our country is just, like, normal, you know?
Mhm.
Like, there's something crazy going on as well. Like, people's jobs aren't the same. People don't have jobs that,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of tension and stress in the world. And I realized that, you know, I had to lean on you guys and the people around me to kind of pull me out of that, like, negative space of feeling like I didn't want to do anything.
Mhm.
I didn't want to post anything. I just, like, was like, everything I'm seeing is just, like, so bad. It's just making me
Mhm.
feel horrible, you know? And the more that, you know, I would start to come to the studio and just, like, we would have a meeting, you know, or we would just start talking about, like, well, what are these ideas, like, you know, what could we do? You know, those were the types of things that eventually started to make it feel like, okay, like, now I can kind of get back into, like, a normal mindset,
Mhm.
a positive mindset, and be like, what can we do moving forward, you know?
And we can use our platform to better the whole community. You know what I'm saying? We have not a horn tutor right here, but we have a great platform to talk about certain things like that. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as we clicked up and got together, shout out Haley, shout out Tina, shout out the other parties involved, even the mayor of the city and Terrence. When everybody came together to make those things happen, and we got over 5,000 people in the Facebook event, we
This
knew what
is
time it
regarding
was.
the protest.
This is regarding the
Mhm.
protest, correct? Yeah. Once we did all of those things, and all of us put our minds together, we made huge things happen. And going back to what you said, Brandon, we might not be able to stop racism, or we might not see it in our lifetime, but we made a huge fucking dent in it. You get what I'm saying? A huge dent. And I'm talking us
Mhm.
as millennials all across the globe, people in our age bracket. We're fucking doing exactly what we should
Mhm.
be doing. So that's all I have to say on the subject.
A lot is happening, and like you said, the generations are speaking out, and, you know, monuments are coming down, this or that is coming down, changes are being made. You know, it's the small victories that amount to the big win, or the small wins that amount to the big victory, however you want to look at it. I want to bring it back a couple years when we actually started this. You know, before we were the Iron Skillet, we were literally a group of creatives that was hanging out in Trav's basement. We came together as a super group of local artists.
True
you know, that's
story.
what we started as. We started as music brought us together.
Yeah.
And then Shaw and Trav pitched the podcast. So then we start doing the podcast. Now we're doing vlogs. And we have created a platform. Now we're doing charity events and raising money for, you know, put shoes on kids' feet and this and that. So it's like, when these issues came about, we all came in and we were like, we got to make a statement. We have to say something. We have to use this platform to do good with it, like to say something. And, you know, we put our heads together and we, you know, came up with that statement. We found that, hey, this one little thing, if we tell everybody, hey, call out racist, call out racism, you know, that's something that everybody can do. Just bringing that awareness. And we want to continue to use this platform to, you know, create change. And it starts in our community because it starts small.
For sure.
I agree.
I know, like, a big thing we've talked about is how, like, we're not experts on that topic of like empowering people through education around, like, legislation and government and all that. Like, I know that I'm not an expert on that, but we've also been trying to brainstorm, like, who is in our
Mhm.
community,
Yep.
like, who knows a lot about this stuff, who could we bring on to the podcast to ask our questions, and also, like, give information to empower the people that listen to us. So those are ideas that we've definitely been throwing around and trying to kind of figure out who would be the best people to
Mhm.
collaborate
Mhm.
with. And I think that's something that's always going to be in the front of our mind moving forward.
Mhm.
But I know a big part of the reason why we created the podcast was because we wanted to inspire people. You know, we wanted to have people share their stories in hopes of like bringing us together as a unit and kind of allowing everybody to get to where they want to go. And with that being like a mission, it makes sense that right now more than ever, you know, we start to kind of get the gears rolling back with that.
Mhm.
And you know, sharing people's stories and hoping that like we're putting that energy out into the world that's going to bring people together, bring them closer, and allow us to all, you know, reach another level that we couldn't have ever gotten to by ourselves.
Mhm.
So
I love that because that's our whole MO. You know what I'm saying? We really enjoy bringing people together. It doesn't matter anybody's background, ethnicity. It's all for one thing, and that's creative exploration. And you know, we're trying to reach different heights. If we get a photographer on here, he's trying to reach a different height. Like, it doesn't matter. Anybody who's doing something creative and trying to grow personally and with their community is definitely on board with us. But I want to say during the whole thing, it was really hard to even... I had every idea that I had for us as the Iron Skillet podcast got redirected when all of that happened. You know what I'm saying? So we had to adapt and adjust very quickly. But as for you guys, we still have stuff in the arsenal, things like that. We've got a couple episodes about to drop ASAP, and we're always working.
I feel like a big thing that we did that was super important. We have an episode, like Logan said, coming out very, very soon with a videographer named Sam Snowden. And at the end, after we had cut the podcast, he asked us, like, so what is your guys' like goals? Like, where do you see this going? And like, we all were like, well, we have our like ideas, but we hadn't really sat down and like really chopped it up about that as a unit in a minute, you know? And that's something that we did with this time. Like, we all sat down and we were like, got real honest with each other and got some clarity around like what's our real goal? Like, where do we really see this going, and what do we have to do? Like, what are our action steps? If that's really what our goal is, what do we need to put our energy into? I feel like that was very important. That
to
we
take
did
us to the
that.
next level. Yeah,
I feel like we're even stronger now because we know where we want to go, and we had this time to reflect and look at ourselves as a group, and we know where we need to take it. We know what we need to do. I've pitched so many ideas over the past month. Some of them have gotten shot down, and I've even pitched some ideas about getting into politics in certain aspects. But you know, more so pushing narratives and pushing ideas. And I mean, before all this came about, we had a big show lined up, and I honestly feel like we had the lineup of the year, the local lineup of the year, not even locals, and then you know, COVID came and shut it down, and you know,
it was like one thing after another for the Iron Skillet
really
podcast.
There
ladies
was
and gentlemen.
so much that's been going on behind the scenes that nobody knows about, and we've just literally been battling through it all. And here we are putting our heads back together.
Exactly, still here.
I mean, I feel like we were on autopilot for a while.
Mhm.
We were just going through the motions, and not to say we were doing anything like, you know, not quality, but like we were just kind of going through it. But now we've reassessed. We know what we need to do. We know where we're going with it.
Perseverance is key.
Yeah.
What you feeling, Trav? What's your mind been at this past couple months?
Damn, Trav, you ain't said nothing.
Yeah,
yet.
that's why I'm
Hold
calling
up.
you
I'm
out.
just listening to y'all. Well, what you were saying, I feel like it was like we were on such a good path. It's like the world just dropped a bunch of fucking shit in our way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like those things are the things that would destroy something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows that we're coming out on the other end of it like better than we were. I feel like.
Yes, sir.
Big whoop.
For sure, 100%.
What else you guys want to discuss? What about like our own personal things going on? Like, Logan, what have you been doing behind the scenes? Getting
Behind the
prepared
scenes, as of right now,
as an individual.
getting prepared for ... Getting prepared for what? Question mark.
I don't know. What's Master Low got cooking up?
Man, I have tons of different avenues lately. When this kind of got put on hold because of everything that was going on, I had to find new avenues myself just to keep myself entertained.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was itching. I'm a type of person who has to have something out at all times, or I have to be doing something, or I feel like I am nobody.
Master promo.
Yeah, master promo. So I tried so hard not to selfishly promote any of my music, but then it just got to the point where I was like, man, I made so many songs during this whole thing that has a lot of emotion behind it. You know what I'm saying? Definitely inspired by the situations in the universe today. But I've got things going on with Benny Bangs. Shout out my man Benny Bangs. We got vlogs coming out. That's a side entity off of the Iron Skillet.
You guys got a tape in the works?
Yeah,
too?
we got a tape in the works. I got a tape coming with Jet Johnson, multiple different music videos, and everything that I'm doing with you guys. Podcasts, Side Dish
there's
vlogs.
no shade should be thrown at somebody who promotes their music over the past month. You know, like we've said, everybody feels there's a different time. Everybody's gonna be ready, you know, feeling like they're back to normal at a certain time. And for me, outside of us, just like music in general can pull people out of these ruts. Like Freddie dropped Alfredo, and that really brought me back to life. Like, I've been in a rut with music. I've been in a rut with life. Hell, for the better part of a year, I've been trying to find myself. Like, last year, I dropped Roses. I wanted to quit rapping after that. Like, I was about done with music for no reason. Not like it's just, I don't know. It's
in a space.
Yeah, I was just in a different space, different headspace, and I kind of had to pull myself out of it. So for the better part of a year, I'm still here trying to find myself. And then, you know, this past month kind of threw everything for a loop and myself for a loop, but I really needed that time to reflect and find myself. I mean, I haven't really posted anything since this week was the first time I've dropped any new pictures, no music. Like, I didn't feel right. It didn't. The timing was not right. I don't know. A lot of people felt that way.
I feel, yeah, and like we had this conversation the other day, and I reiterated it to them because like everyone's different, and like me sharing my emotions is never to like tell someone that this is how it should be. Like, you know, like for me, I was just in that whole situation messed me up emotionally to the point where I think everyone's gone through a point in life where you pull up your Instagram and your heart's just not in it. You're just like, I don't even, like, if I post this, it's just for the sake of it. It's not because my heart's in it. Like, I'm like real excited about it. I'm just like, and every time I pull it up, I would just be like, nah, I'm not feeling it, you know? And like, I think we all know if your heart's not in it, it's not going to go well. But now, having taken some time, I have a completely different vibe of something that I want to put my energy into. And when I put that out, I feel like it's going to be super dope and like super uplifting and fun. And like, I'm glad I waited because like, that's something that I want to put into the world right now, which isn't, you know, the other stuff I had it's not bad if I would have dropped it, but I really feel like coming back with this song is going to be way more relevant of like where I'm at right now in life. And I feel like that'll be dope.
I want to feed off what she was saying. It goes back to the beginning of her dialogue. It's okay for people to have opinions and for other people not to agree with their opinions. How you react to certain situations really determines the outcome of everything. So I just want to say that to anybody who's trying to be somebody, be a creative, and keep growing personally and with their own entities that they got going on. You're going to hear different opinions, and it is not to be debated. You understand what I'm saying? Like, people are not going to think the same way as you. How you react to the situation determines the outcome. That's all I have to say.
For sure. Facts. Definitely.
Big facts.
I feel like the whole reason why we wanted to do this Side Dish, come back like this, is because we wanted to give people some background into what we've actually been going through as, you know, as a group and as human beings. Because just coming back with like podcasts would just seem a little bit strange. I know there's a piece that I'm going to be working on that I'm going to put all my energy into, and it's going to be really awesome. And when you guys see that, I think that it'll be a really strong representation of the conversation we just had. So that'll be really cool when that's done to give that to you guys. But we definitely have some podcasts and we have a different formula. We're going to shake some things up, try some new types of content. And, you know, it's all just to kind of help everybody learn and grow and inspire you guys and give you guys something positive to look at while the world's not in such a positive place.
Exactly. Anybody have
It's
anything
kind of
else to say?
It's not our responsibility, but I feel it's our duty to continue to bring the positivity, to continue to inspire. And we can't let something like this, stop us, because I feel that we have a platform to where we can create change. And even if it's something small in the community, like I said, it starts in the community and then it gets bigger. But I honestly see us doing something big. I know we are. I have ideas.
Tons of ideas.
I have so many ideas.
So many ideas.
Yo, I remember a couple weeks ago when we had a meeting, I had a whole list, and I'm like, all right, what do y'all think about this? Oh, nope, not working. Okay. What about content entrepreneurship? All right. No lie, y'all laughed at me when I said content entrepreneur for the first time.
Now it's a term.
Now it's stuck.
Yeah.
Webster.
I heard it's in the
holla.
dictionary.
Yeah, y'all.
Webster.
Hey, I coined it. Y'all need to holler at me. Just come calling. But actually, don't call me because I don't like people hitting my phone. You gotta hit me on social. Don't hit me on Messenger because I don't even mess with Messenger. Just hit my email.
Oh Lord.
Find me on
Gotta
Twitter.
get professional with
At
it.
any
Apple
rate,
look crazy.
guys, tons of cool stuff coming up for you guys. We've got tons of vlog footage that we still need to put out, podcast side dishes, new guests in the works, a lot of virtual episodes that we're super happy about, right?
Definitely super
Yeah,
excited.
those virtual episodes are going to be nice, especially for the guests that are going to be involved in those.
Mhm.
Trav, what do you have going on, man? Let the people know a little bit.
Life.
Life for Travis.
You got a lot in the works.
He tackles everything.
Well, I mean, I was kind of off work from my normal job, so I had to like do other shit, and it kind of pushed me to do more. So it's kind of dope.
Yeah. Are you happy with the outcome?
Yeah, I will be
There you
working
go.
on it. Still working on
sees
it.
the vision.
He's a very premeditated person, ladies and gentlemen.
We got a lot in the works. I'm so excited for the future.
I know. I'm trying not to tell anything.
I don't want to
while we're
give too
here,
much
like,
away.
You guys want to know a secret? Because you probably do.
I'll tell them a secret.
Uh-oh.
Hey, tell him.
It's official. The Iron Skillet is back.
Ah! At
Hey.
any rate, guys, we are the Iron Skillet. This is a side dish. Thank you all for tuning in. We are super glad to be back. Holler at you soon.
I don't think that was a secret.